ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पतान् शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् ॐ श्री महागणपतये नमः। ॐ हंसाय विद्महे परमहंसाय धीमहि तन्नो हंसः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्त्रैरङ्गैस्तुष्ट्वागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ओम। बोलिए सियापति रामचंद्र की जय। जय श्री राम। Namaskar everyone and welcome to the Hindu Prachaar Kendra's Sunday morning Satsang live from our Sri Ram Vijay Mandir located at Jalibia Trace, Raghunanan Road, Enterprise Central, Trinidad. We are always happy to have you join us in Satsang, so thank you for being here with us, those of you who are in the Mandir and those of you joining us virtually. So today is a very special day for us, not just because of Indian Arrival Day, which is tomorrow for us here in Trinidad and Tobago, 177 years, but this is our virtual satsang number 108. So we need a big om for that and a wonderful celebration. Jai Shri Ram! It's such a wonderful and auspicious landmark for us. It has been a rewarding journey actually, and a real learning experience in more ways than one, as we all navigated through the COVID-19 pandemic, and for us trying to find ways to stay in contact with everyone. So we started with baby steps, as we say, in this technological world, and slowly we learned to stand fairly comfortably in the virtual space, and we are so appreciative of all of you who have been making this journey with us week after week, encouraging us and sharing very valuable feedback. So all of us, I think someone said to me yesterday, I met someone from abroad, and he said, you all always look so happy, that you're just enjoying what you are doing, and that is so true. We really do enjoy being in satsang. I say it every week, we love what we do, and we are fully committed to ensuring satsang is empowering and an enjoyable experience. Of course, under Raviji's guidance, we have always nurtured a culture of teaching and learning here at the Hindu Prachaar Kendra, and this continues through all our programs, and this includes our regular satsang as well. We may do things differently, as we are going to be doing this morning, because we are diverting from the usual satsang format, but always the intention is to impart our Sanatan heritage effectively in creative and motivating ways as best as we can. Now, during this time of reflection, when we celebrate our past with great love and respect, we lament so much about the present. Isn't that so? There's so much when we look at the condition of the community, the nation, and the whole world. There's a lot to lament about. And this leads to worry about the future, worry about continuity, because there is a lot to be concerned about, especially in relation to our dharmic heritage. So at the start of our Jahaji Satsang this morning, before we even sing any of our special songs, I want to acknowledge all the community-conscious young people who are serving Dharma and Desh, our nation, our community, through various organizations and groups. Now, seeing these young people serving so selflessly, it gives us hope for the future, and it's reassuring to witness their commitment and dedication. Right here in the Hindu Prachaar Kendra, we have several such young people. But this morning, I want to single out two of them who have been the backbone of our virtual Satsang world for over 2 years and who have not faltered in their commitment to all of us. And that is Ishji and Praveshji. And I mentioned to Raviji, I'm so happy that it's two young men, and we have other young men also supporting, because often we see a great imbalance with the males and the females. And usually for Indian Arrival Day, we garland elders. We do Malarapan for elders. But this morning, we take a different approach, and I don't know if the camera shuts down or the sound shuts down. You bear with us, but I want to ask Praveshji and Ishji to please come in front and call on our founder. Praveshji, you can turn the camera this way to the center, and then please come. Raviji, please come. Our Guru Pitaji here, our founder, to honor these two young men. And they are also mentoring others so that we can develop a dynamic tech team for continued Techno-Dharma projects that will come up in the future. And Devananji is going to take over. Let's see what will happen. And you know, both Ishji and Praveshji, they have studied and undergone years of training at our Heritage Vacation course and other camps and programs. Praveshji has also been to India for training. So I will ask Raviji to offer the Malarpan and the Chandan, and all of us who would have been training with Raviji for so many years, we have all received many a buff from him. These two also would have received many, but the discipline and you know, the learning and sharing, it has been wonderful for all of us and for our community. So Raviji will honor them. Om Harihi Om. Chant together. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Boliye Siyapati Ramchandra ki Jai. Raviji, I didn't hit them hard on their back this time. It's because you're honoring them. Yes, normally when Raviji gives his blessing, we get a nice hard blessing. So thank you very much, Praveshji and Ishji, on behalf of everyone who has benefited from our virtual satsangs. And I also want to acknowledge Vasalji, Priyaji, Devanandji. Happy birthday, Devanand. Yesterday was his birthday. Bhavani ji, who handles all the flyers and always has to be very patient with me as we do all the slides and so on. So Bhavani ji, Chaya ji, Shanta ji, Vishala ji, the whole mandali, the whole group of young persons supporting us. And you know, they also support many other organizations and community projects as well. This is why some of them are not here this morning, because there is a rehearsal going on. So the potential we celebrate and we see in our young people, it is put into great perspective in our first offering this morning, our mantra of the year 1995. So just for the benefit of those who are not familiar with mantra of the year, between the years 1985 to 2004, that's a full 20 years, these mantra songs, which were released annually, they provided valuable guidance, commentary, and inspiration inspiration for us. And it remains one of our most innovative projects. The teachings of select verses from our Shastras were taken and translated into inspirational songs in English. And these were our anthems for each year. And the Shastric selections, they were informed by issues of that particular time, of that particular year. So naturally, for 1995, it was the 150th anniversary of Indian arrival here for us in Trinidad and Tobago. And the focus was on the experiences and vision of our Jahaajis. So you can follow and sing along with us, taken from Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad. We listen as we hear from the cane fields of Karani, the voices of our Jahaajis calling out to us, their santan, we are their children, the generations after. What are they saying? What is the call? Climb to greater heights than they ever did and pass on a brighter flame. Follow with us, mantra of the year, 1995. Tamvai tamahu adipita batavu adipita maho batavu adipita maho batavu Ati Pitamaho Batavu Om. We hear the ancient voices calling from the Karani plain. A soul-stirring refrain, a soul-stirring refrain. You are santan only when beyond your pitri gains you climb to higher planes. So climb to higher planes. We break Kalapani and build you a nation. India is not how our history began. Ganga Maya lives in Mother Karani. That is what makes this a rainbow country. That is what makes this a rainbow country. Past to present in our hand, building up our motherland, the mother of the whole region. You are santan only when beyond your pitri gains you climb to higher planes. So climb to higher planes. Like Indradev lost in a tamasic yoni, can we lose the real for a phony? Through vision in action, shape our destiny. When tomorrow we'll read our story, when tomorrow we'll read our story, tomorrow will never shame. Build on yesterday's gain and pass on a brighter flame. You are santan only we are enemy, we are own friend. Much to overcome and so much we must mend. Every one of us must guard the Hindu future. Every one of us must guard the Hindu future. Karani heroes of Deshar Dharma. You Karani heroes of Deshar Dharma. Every Hindu woman and man become a Sita and Ram and tireless like Hanuman. You are Santan only when beyond your pitri gains you climb to higher planes. So climb to higher planes. Let us now reveal the divine secret with a Hindu life. Let us fulfill it. We were brought here by cosmic Leela. We were brought here by cosmic Leela for a purpose beyond indenture. For a purpose beyond indenture. To share the Atma Gyan and take all the Caribbean to a higher elevation. We hear the ancient voices calling from the Karani plain. A soul-stirring refrain. A soul-stirring refrain. You are Santan only when beyond your pitri gains you climb to higher planes. So climb to higher planes. Climb to higher planes. Climb to higher planes. Climb to higher planes. बोलिए जहाजी मंडल की जय, सियापति रामचंद्र की जय, जय Shri Ram, Jai Jahaji. This morning our refrain is Jai Jahaji. Now if you can recall, last week we looked briefly at how Sri Rama had advanced his legacy. We saw him in his moments of reflection and decision making, very conscious of his kulariti, very conscious of the lineage to which he belonged, the Raghu kulariti, and he ensured he did not falter in living it well and also in lifting it. And we saw many reminders and chances were given to whom? Ravan. Many persons were reminding Ravan to be conscious of his own lineage, his Pulastya Kula, but he faltered what? Every time. So he lost his way. So I hope you would have listened attentively to the words of that mantra of the year, because this Indian Arrival Day, and every time Indian Arrival Day comes around and we have Indian Heritage Month, let us truly commit to passing on a brighter flame. Now, every Indian Arrival Day, we look forward to our visit from Jahaji Mai for her kisa, for her storytelling, and she will join us shortly. But first, I want to make sure that we continue with the chanting of the mantra that we are learning, our morning mantra, our wake-up mantra. If you have missed this and you want to understand how it's linked to our Jahaji Pitris and the role it should play in our lives, you can refer to the last couple of satsangs, because this mantra is a profound reminder of how we should live every day as we walk this earth. You can read the meaning on screen and follow the lyrics on screen as well. if you need to do so. And once we are finished with just going through the words, Praveshji, you'll focus on Bhavani so that we all follow along as we speak to ourselves and as we offer our salutations to Dharti Mata. So please say after me. Karagre Vasate Lakshmi Kar Madhye Saraswati Kar Mule Tu Govinda Prabhate Kar Darshanam Samudra Vasane Devi Parvat Sthana Mandale Vishnu Patni Namastubhyam Pada Sparsham Shamaswa Me. We'll chant line by line. You can follow Bhavaniji and make sure wherever you are that you do Dharti Pranam. We offer salutations to Mother Earth. First we speak to ourselves by looking at our hands. We chant together. Karagre vasate Lakshmi, Kar madhye Saraswati, Kar mule tu Govinda, Prabhate Kar darshanam, Samudra vasane Devi, Parvat sthana mandale, Vishnu patni namastubhyam, Padasparsham Shamasvame. Boliye Dharti Mata ki Jai, Jagadambe Mata ki Jai, Jai Jahaji. So Pavitraji, our dear Jahaji Mai, while she is setting up and getting organized, we'll be ready for her in 2 minutes. We will be here, you will be hearing, we are sharing with you excerpts of 2 of our Pichikaris. For those who are not familiar with Pichikari, and even just as a reminder, our Kendra Phagwa festival is well known for the Pichikari genre. These are local Phagwa songs which started here in Trinidad, this particular genre, in 1991. Now, Pichikaris are mostly in English with Hindi words and phrases, and they are of different types. They address social issues, political issues, current affairs, and so on. They can be very festive as they celebrate Phagwa traditions, and the kathas as well, and address and celebrate different kathas from our shastras, and they can be theme-based as well. So naturally for 1995, it was how many years first for Indian arrival? 150 years, and the theme was arrival and survival. And our dear Jahaji Mai says at the end, I am going to sing an excerpt of the Pichikari that I sang that year for the competition, Jai Girmitya Jaya He. So let us welcome our dear Jahaji Mai for her Kisa and her Pichikari excerpt that she is sharing with us this morning. Jai Jahaji, Bolye Jagadambe, Mata ki Jai, Jai Shri Ram. Jai.
Sitaram beta, Sitaram beti, Jai Jahaji,
Jai Jahaji,
Sitaram. Well, your Jahaji Mai, a little tired this morning because I get up early to ready to come down here. I say, it's Indian arrival time, and I had to come and tell my Kisa. So this morning, I go in and tell Ali the little kahani na about my bhaiwa, Sivida Sadhu. All you know about Sivda Sadhu, or you ever hear about how one Indian man could build a building on Pani? It had nobody here in Trinidad do that, you know. And Sivda Sadhu, he built the kutia in the Pani. So here it is. एक दिन, one day, Sivda Sadhu, he tell himself, you know something, it has no kutia where I live in here, you know. So I can't build this kutia for the Hindu people. You see, Sivda Sadhu, he was on a mission. He had get a vision. You know, in Bangladesh, did he tell him that when you go to Trinidad, you belong a mandarina, a kutia. So he set out on a mission. You know, he was determined, you know. He had plenty determination. He said, I'm going to build this kutia for the Hindus in this nation, Trinidad. So ekdam he went, he looked for a piece of land. He said, I find this piece of land here. It will be good to build my kutia. Down by the sea now. So when I build this kutia and I watch all day, I go see the samundar. And that go remind me of Bangladesh now. You know, when a day near the Ganga. So he went and he got up a little material, he wood and thing now, and he built a little kutia. And he start to sing Ramayana, he do a puja, and that is how they start to call him Sadhu. And that is how he get the name Sivda Sadhu, because they know him when he start to perform a little puja and thing. So people start to come, and for a little time, the kutia, they nice, and then everybody start to get to know. But hey, if I tell you what happened, then one day, they come and they say, hey Sadhu, the master them now, what you doing? You belong kutia and you gathering people here and thing, and you getting a little famous and thing now. But hear this, you know something, you see this land here, it belongs to the state, you know, and you trespassing. So you go have to pay, and in fact, you go have to break down this from here. He say, nah, this Bhagawan ki ghar bhai, how I go break it down? Look all over, they have church and thing now, and they pray and thing, so why I can't have a little kutia here and thing now to pray to for we Hindu people? So they say, nah, bhai, nah. And they start to make kuchur and janjat and thing. And then they bring the sipahi and the police and thing now, and they make a little court case. And they charge him 100 sterling. Well, like the queen ke paisa na, 100 sterling. And they put him in the jail. He spent 2 weeks in the jail. But all you know what happened? A mystery happened there too, When my bhaiwa was in jail, they went and they break down the kutia. Are bapre. All of it is sad and confused, you know. We didn't know what to do. They break on the kutia. So when he come out, he tell them, all you don't want me to bring to build my kutia here. Then you see, look how he had the whole of the samundar. I'm going to build it right there. And all you go, can't break it down. Can't throw me out. That is Bhagawan place. But before that, something happened. The man who drive the bulldozer thing to break down the kutia, he mar gaya jesu. And the other one, who they give the ara to break down the kutia, he and all mar gaya jesu. They say, a tree they fall on top him and kill him. But that didn't stop my bhai Sivda Sadhu from building the kutia. He take his sankalp and he bow to Ganga Maya and he do his puja and thing and he start to tote little boulders and thing now. 1, 2, 3, 1 by 1, 2 by 2 in a little crocus bag and thing. And then a little while after, he get a bucket and he put it in his bicycle. He had a old little bicycle, one bucket this side, one bucket that side. And fill it up with the stone and thing. And he go and he start to build a little platform. But you know, he going in, you see, when he tied alone, so sometimes little by knee and thing have water, pani de, So he start up that. And some people say, see you are Sadhu, what you doing? What you there, toting stone, so you can't belong wandering in Sina? But, you know, he determined, you know, say this is a vision I have, you know, and I on a mission, and I go show you, I could build this kutia in the Samundra. And so he built, he taught day, evening. Some people help him, but some people, they laugh at him, they say he going pagal, you know. But he never take them on. And so, he built the kutia in the sea, and he started doing puja, and all over Trinidad, people get to know, and they start to come in Kartik time and thing. They start to come, and they do puja, and so Sadhu get to we get to hear about the kutia in the sea. And I myself went one day, and I passed through the pani in the little knee-height water, and I went inside the kutia, and I prayed. And that is how we have the samundar in the sea. 177 years of history, with endurance and sacrifice, they build this country. Buchundara Bhadis and Sivda Sadhu. As heroes of Dharma, we pay them tribute. Beta, play a little music then, come and sing a song of victory.
Everybody.
For the Jahajis of this country. Let us chant aloud. Jai Girmitiya, Jaya He, Jaya He, Jaya He. Come and sing a
Song of victory for Jahajis of this country. Let us chant aloud. Jai Girmitiya, Jaya He, Jaya He, Jaya He.
O children of the Jahaj, arise, the time has come. Honor the ancestors for the work they have done.
Honor the ancestors for the work they have done.
The vision they leave behind go beyond their gains. So take the torch of freedom and climb to higher places.
So come and sing a song of victory for Jahajis of this country. Let us chant aloud. Jai Girmitiya, Jaya He, Jaya He, Jaya He.
Jai Girmitiya,
Jaya He, Jaya He, Jaya He.
Jai Girmitiya, Jaya He, Jaya He, Jaya He. Jai Girmitiya, Jai Sivda Sadhu, Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram, Jai Jahaji, Jagadambe Mata Ki Jai. And we continue to sing Pichikari. See, Jahaji Mai is getting a small round of applause here. It's always so wonderful to see her and to listen to her. Everyone always enjoys it a lot, and I'm happy in her old age, she could still remember a couple verses of her Pichikari song, but we are going to join in singing another one that is from 1995, and it reminds us of all that Jahaji Mai shared with us about our Jahaji Pitris who were real heroes. And we are being called on to reflect on our own lives and see how we can follow along in their footsteps. You know, I shared a couple messages that persons had sent to me about their own regret and guilt in relation to their own elders, their own grandparents and so on. It was so touching to read some of this, that when they were there and we were with them, we think everything about their lives was so old-fashioned. I got a really, really touching one this week, which I can't really, we don't have the time to share, about someone who had migrated because he thought the fastest chance he can get to move away from that ancestral home, he would move away. He didn't like that his nanny and nana used to mind cows, and he would ride around in a bicycle to sell milk, and he didn't invite his take his grandparents along. His mother had passed when he was young. I'm just sharing the gist of it. And when it was time for graduation, they who looked after him, he didn't want them to go because of how they would look and how they dressed. It was such a sad story. And he said, when I returned after a long time, my nanny was bedridden and my nana had passed. He couldn't come for the funeral. And he said he just broke down. He could not handle the guilt and the emotion. And he came for a wedding, and his nanny asked him to come back after the wedding was over. And he was given $12,000. This is over 3 decades ago, which would have been a lot of money. And he said Nana used to save money so that his grandchildren could see their way. You know, and this is a story that is familiar for many of us. So much we have received. What we are doing with all, and I'm not just talking about material inheritance, it's the whole emotional inheritance, the culture, the bringing and so on. Tears came to my eyes when I read that message. So let us look at ourselves and let us make sure as much as we can, we pass on a brighter flame. And we can do this if we are able to follow their footsteps. And some people want to cry, but let's cry and sing and laugh and sing, because really when we remember them, it's so emotional. You can follow the lyrics. Follow the footsteps of your nani and nana. Build up this desh with the power of your dharma. Follow the footsteps of your Aji and Naja. Children of India, build up your future. Come and celebrate now. Listen, I could tell you how. For their hardship and struggle, set a good example. Cause if not for them, I say, we would not be here today. Follow the footsteps of your Nani and Nana. Build up this dish with the power of your dharma. Follow the footsteps of your Haji and Raja. Children of India, build up the future. We forefathers come to Trinidad, work hard and safety. When things were very bad, they never gave
of your dharma. Follow the footsteps of your Jahaji and Raja. Children of India, build up your future.
They lived a simple life and cheese masala. Today is microwave and no more chulha. In sun and rain, they walk in the cane. They never suffer with arthritis pain. With blood and sweat, they nurture this nation to build a better life for this present generation.
Follow the footsteps of your Nani and Nana. Build up this dish with the power of your dharma. Follow the footsteps of your Aji and Aja. Children of India, build up the future.
Sadhu, we salute you. A real Hindu man, no kunu munu. They push your mandir down and send you to jail. The maximum fine without any bail. Bhayo aur beheno, be brave and be strong. Don't let nobody push you around.
Don't let nobody push you around.
So
Follow the footsteps of your Nani and Nana. Build up this dish with the power of your dharma. Follow the footsteps of your Haji and Raja. Children of India, build up your future.
come and celebrate now.
Listen, I could tell you how. For their hardship and struggle, set a good example. 'Cause if not for them, I say, we would not be here today. Follow the footsteps of your Nani and Nana. Build up this dish with the power of your dharma. Follow the footsteps of your Raji and Raja. Children of India, build up your future. Children of India, build up your future. Children of India, build up your future.
बोलिए जहाजी मंडल की जय जय जहाजी सियापति रामचंद्र की जय जय श्री राम. So one more offering to share before we will chant our precious and cherished Jahaji chalisa. About 2 weeks ago, I received an email from Trinidad-born Indra Prasad Milo, a visual artist living and working in Salem, Massachusetts. Her work brings to life many of her childhood memories of growing up in Trinidad in the 1950s and 1960s, and she has mounted many exhibitions. Indraji joins our satsang every week from there in Salem, and even whenever she is traveling to other places, she also joins us. So she sent me a poem by her late father, Ramsundar Prasad of Currap, with a brief note to me because we were doing Indian Heritage Month activities. The note was, feel free to recite. So I replied and suggested that she should read her father's poem, and she replied, Sita Ram Gita, the first time I read this poem was the night that I was transferring it onto my computer for the publisher. It was only then I started to understand my ancestors. After my father died, we published a book of his poetry entitled The Lotus Blooms, a collection of poems. It went on to earn the International Book Award and the Best Books Award from USA Book News. As Indraji reads, you'll see her seated next to one of her beautiful art pieces that is on the entrance wall of her studio and gallery. The 6 feet by 6 feet mural is titled Tulsi, a kaleidoscope of the imagination. Here is her video of her father's poem, They Came, They Saw, They Conquered.
Sitaram, everyone. It's an absolute pleasure and delight for me to recite this poem to you today. It comes from the book The Lotus Blooms, a collection of poems by Prachaar, who is my late father. This book has won 2 awards in America, the International Book Award and the Best Book Award. The poem is called They Came, They Saw, They Conquered. They came here since 1845. They toiled, they prayed, they worked in the sun and rain, from morn to night. In their hearts and minds, Lord Rama gave them solace. Lakshman gave them courage. Mother Sita gave them a sense of duty, and Hanuman gave them protection. They saw this new land. Some had hopes to return home. Others decided to stay and make this land their home. They worked hard on the lands where others had tried. They knew what was to be done, and they made this place a richer country. From what they earned, they still saved a little. The desire was there to have a family. They conquered all obstacles. They worked and loved and prayed. They came to their own. They had arrived. Thank you.
So Indraji, we thank you very much for always joining us and for sharing your father's work and your work with us this morning. And by extension, I want to thank and acknowledge all the persons all the foreigners who view us and join us every week. So now, Jahaji Chalisa. I got several messages. We did not even know that there is a Jahaji Chalisa. So yes, this was launched exactly 20 years ago. This is the 20th anniversary of Jahaji Chalisa, and it was launched for Indian Arrival Day that time. And it was conceptualized. All the ideas and concepts in Jahaji Chalisa, they were done by Raviji. The writing was done by Dr. Prem Kundra, who was a Hindi scholar who was here in Trinidad at that time. I am not going to read and explain the whole chalisa. We all know what a chalisa is. We all, I think, I wish, I hope, Ciro will continue singing it as much as possible. So as well as we know Hanuman Chalisa, we should know Jahaji Chalisa, because we know in Ramcharitmanas about the bridge that was built from India to go to Lanka. But we also have our own version of that katha here, like that was a Kutiya Setu, the bridge to the Kutiya instead of the Ram Setu, very similar, okay, because the Jahajis built their lives around Ram Katha. So all the translations for the verses are going to be up on screen. So as much as you can sing along with us, you can read the translations as we are chanting, and please use the Jahaji Chalisa as a reminder for you this morning and as a piece of inspiration so that we can truly be committed to passing on a brighter flame to the generations ahead. Jahaji Chalisa. हाथ जोड़ विनती सदा तुमसे प्रभु हमारी भूले ना
कृपा जो भारी। रवि की किरणों से खिले प्रेम हृदय के भाव, जन सागर में घेरही चालीसा की नाव। पावन पुण्य सुमिरन तिहारा, धन्य धान्य आशीष तिहारा। गिरमितिया जहाज से आवा, एक जहाजी परिवार कहावा। सात समुंदर पार उतारा, चारों ओर घना अंधियारा। छूट गया सब साथ तिहारा, बंधु बांधवा देश तिहारा। दीपक सम तुम प्राण जलावा, आंधी बरखा को सह पावा। कुल्ली से तुम कुलीन बनावा, सर उठाकर जीन सिखावा। रात दिन तुम पसीना बहावा, हम सब मिल मधुर फल पाया। मन सरोवर वास तिहारा, तमसा मंगल पावन प्यारा। जय गिरमितिया, जय गिरमितिया, जय 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 गिरमितिया। आजा आजी नाना नानी, राम कथा सम तुम्हारी कहानी। काला माई बनवास पावा, निरर राम सम धर्म निभावा। देश पराया भाषा जानी, निकलेपन का धारा पानी। हर विपरीत पर विजय पावा, स्वतंत्रता का दीप जलावा। चीनी के सुवर्ण बरसावा, परिश्रम का मोती चमकावा। जगत गुरु भारत के दूता, लाए संस्कृति धर्म अनूपा। सगर सुत सागर बीज आवा, गंगा की मधुधारा लावा। वसुधैव कुटुंब राह दिखाए, सब मिल रहो सदा संग भाई। समृद्ध मन सारा पहनावा, चमका मणिमय दीप हमारा। दधीचि समकर वज्रमादि, गांधी बाबा की तुम लादी। जय गिरमितिया, जय गिरमितिया, जय 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 गिरमितिया। तुम्हारी माता पिता हमारे, तुम्हारी गुरु और ब्रह्म हमारे। त्रिनिवागो मारी शस गयाना, मलेशिया जमैका सुरीनामा। दक्षिण अफ्रीका फीजी सुहावा, गिरमितिया मंडल कहलावा। तुम्हारे कारण जन हम पावा, इस माटी का लाल कहावा। तुमने हमको सीख सिखाई, परहित करो सदा सब भाई। जहाजी रीति सदा चली आई, प्राण जाए पर वचन न जाए। जय गिरमितिया, जय गिरमितिया, तुलसी पितामह हमारे सदा जहाजियों के रखवारे श्री रामायण और चालीसा हम जीवन का मंत्र सीखा महावीर का बल पहचाना हर संकट से लड़ना जाना राम नाम तृण लेके सहारा सिया सम रावण को ललकारा शिव संपिया तुम बिससारा ये धरती पर सार तुम्हारा वेद पुराण की राह बतावा ऋषियों की संतान बनावा संस्कृति अबीर रंग बिखरावा पिचकारी इंद्रधनुष बनावा जगमग दीप दिवाली गावे हर त्योहार रंग बिखरावे जय गिरमिटिया जय गिरमिटिया जय 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 गिरमिटिया सब जन चतनी चौता गावे तासा ढोल मंजीर बजावे दाल भात भाजी मन भावा संग साथ सब मिल करी खावा सभी जहाजी रूप तिहारा तिहारा श्रम प्रताप तिहारा मिली हमें धरोहर तिहारी बनी रहे आशीष तिहारी जय 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 हे पुरखे हमारे तुम शक्ति तुम प्राण हमारे हृदय अश्रुतव चरण पखारे तुम्हें प्रणाम पुरखे हमारे धर्म संस्कृति के रखवारे सदा रहो तुम साथ हमारे प्रेम सहित चालीसा गाओ जन्म जन्म का ऋण चुकाओ जन्म जन्म का ऋण चुकाओ जन्म जन्म का ऋण चुकाओ सभी जहाजी मिल करे आज ये प्रण भारी पुरखों की धरोहर है अब पूंजी हमारी उस पर चलेंगे सदा तुमने दिखलाया एको अहम बहुश्याम का मार्ग बतलाया
गिरमिटिया
मंडल की जय
जहाजी मंडल की
जय
जय जहाजी बोलिए सियापति रामचंद्र की जय जय श्री राम. So that is our beautiful Jahaji chalisa, which we will continue sharing with you all as much as we can, so that we can all learn this very beautiful, insightful piece together. We'll stand now for our arti. As we do, we close off with arti every Sunday or satsang. And this morning for arti, we are going to just chant chaubais, because the Ramayana played a significant role in the life of our Jahajis, and it continues to play a very significant role in our lives. You all know how much you request Ramayana Kathas, and some people just tell me, Geeta ji, you don't listen to us at all because you're not doing enough Ramayana Kathas. So I asked just a few persons from within our circle here to send some chaupais that they would like to sing this morning, and they are well-known ones. So we are going to sing as we celebrate our dharmic heritage, as we pray for inspiration to be able to pass on a brighter flame. We ask this grace and this blessing as we sing chaupais and praise Bhagwan Ramachandra.
Jai Ram Shri Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Jai Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jai Jaya Ram Jai Jaya
Everybody
Ram
sing Jai Ram.
Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Vinu
join in closing mantras as we pray for everyone and everything. Om Gurujano Sajjano Bhuyat Sajjana Shanti Mapnuyat Shanto Mucheta Bandevyo Muktas Shanyan Vimochayet Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahin Mahisha Go Brahmanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhu Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Om Dyav Shantir Antarikshamum Shanti Prithvi Shantir Apaha Shantir Aushadaya Shantir Vanaspataya Shantir Vishve Deva Shantir Brahma Shanti Sarvagum Shanti Shantireva Shanti Sama Shantiredhi Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Jag Pranam Siya Ram Main Sab Jag Jani Karau Pranam Jodi Jaga Pani Siya Ram Main Sab Jag Jani Karau Pranam Jodi Jaga Pani Jai Shri Ram Prem se aur jor se powerfully with great reverence and love we chant Jaikar Boliye Gajanan Swami ki Sri Krishna Chandra Bhagwan ki Umapati Mahadev ki Jagadambe Mata ki Pavanasuta Hanuman ki Siyapati Ramchandra ki Goswami Tulsidas ki Trinidad और Tobago देश की जहाजी मंडल की बोलिए श्री सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय हर हर महादेव Jai Shri Ram. Namaskar everyone. Please take your seats. Before we do announcements, we started with the young persons this morning, and we are very fortunate to have with us a very well-respected elder with us in Satsang, that is Shri Bob Gopi and his Dharampatni ji, who is also here, and our dear Ganga ki beti, our Roslyn, our nurse. And listen, when you are talking about service and following in the footsteps and passing on dharmic heritage, this is a brother and a sister, and they are so community conscious. I will not reveal the ages of our dear Ganga ki beti, but only recently she was telling me, I couldn't listen and watch the satsang the same time because I was busy organizing the clinic in the village. Up at this age, still serving community. And this is what we talk about when we say pass on a brighter flame. Continue to serve as best as you can. So I'll ask Mr. Gopi to please come and just share a couple words with us before we close off satsang. He has brought some books, courtesy of Hindi Nidhi, to share for us this morning. And this is also about continuity, sharing knowledge, publishing works, gifting that which is useful. So he has always had a deep interest in Hindi, in the teaching and the promotion of Hindi. He also has a deep interest in publishing, and he also views our satsang quite often and will always share messages with us. He supports our work here at the Kendra. So we are just waiting for him to come. The elders have to move along, and we have to have due patience when we have to assist them and support them. So while he's just getting organized, next week we will focus on Gangadhara, because that date is coming up soon. So we'll spend one satsang on reflection and sharing information on Gangadhara, which will be in 2 weeks' time. And everything is very scaled down this year. So I think Mr. Gopi is almost here, and we'll receive his few words of message. And Angela G, you'll also collect the book gift on behalf of the Heritage Vacation course. Mr. Gopi.
Namaskar, namaskar.
Namaskar.
Pranams to Jahaji, the spiritual leader, the founding president of this organization, Hindu Prachaar Kendra, and everyone here today in person as well as listening on the airwaves. As the Jahaji said, I do have a particular interest in Hindi, particularly in trying to speak Hindi. I say that because we have thousands of persons in Trinidad who are learning Hindi weekly. Our organization alone is teaching over 1,000 students weekly and has been doing that for maybe 20 years or so. And yet, there is a hesitancy in speaking Hindi. And we know a few words, and we say those words, and we feel comfortable with them. And we do get the bhav when we say those words. But I think we'll get a further bhav if you speak a little more Hindi. So what we have done is that we've selected a few topics in this booklet that we have done, and I'll call the names of the topics, and I'll tell you a little bit about them. The first topic is greetings, which is very popular, and I think that is fairly much covered already. But I have here a Trinidad River line, which is a very popular thing among many Trinidadians. And we have 12 sentences relating to a Trinidad River line, both in 3 areas: in English, of course, in transliteration, as well as in Devanagari script. So those of you who know a little Hindi could follow in the Devanagari script. Then we have a Maracas beach line. You see, I'm looking at the things that we do generally and we like to do. A visit to a friend, another 10 sentences in those 3 areas. We have a section on romance, meeting a girl and proposing to the girl. In fact, I was in a function last night, and a minister was speaking, and he said the only thing is remembered is 1 sentence proposing to a girl in Hindi. Then we have 10 sentences on weddings, Jahaji, very popular, and we know a lot of the words, but we don't put them together in some sensible way. Then we have 10 sentences on the weather. How is it? Is raining? Is is windy? It's well, not snowing, but things like that. We have 10 sentences on school. What about school? Your friends in school, meeting your teacher, doing your lessons, and so on. Then we have strangely, well, it happens, but we have 10 sentences on death. What happens when somebody dies, the pujas that we have, the fasting and so on. We have 10 sentences on the kitchen, very important to us. Everybody is in a kitchen every day. So that I would advocate Hindi could be learned in the kitchen alone. The amount of time we spend in the kitchen asking for things, doing things, sharing things, washing up things. And it's all stated here in these 10 sentences. We have here in a restaurant, ordering food, asking for the bill, questioning the waiter, and so on. And then I went to something religious. And we took 10 sentences on the Ramayana gems that we feel that are very popular and important to many, many Trinidadian Indians. Because, as you know, as is said, Trinidad is Ramayana country. And there are many chowpais or parts of chowpais that we know. It's second nature to us. But I don't think we know the meaning of every word in it. We have the feeling, we have the bhav, but we don't have the meaning. Then we have 10 sentences on Hanuman prayers. And we sought to then talk about the Pandit, the Pujari, the Srota, and so on, the Chandi, and that kind of thing. Because every now and again I hear somebody ask, who is sitting down to hear the prayers? And I feel sad when I hear persons who ought to know better is still asking such questions, when everybody ought to be listening to the prayers. But they really meant, who is the Srota? And then we have 10 sentences on sleep, about your bedroom, what color it is, your bed, your pillow. I am feeling sleepy, I'm not feeling sleepy. These are the types of sentences. Then we went to Devi Vegetable Garden, bazaar. We went to a bazaar, that is the Devi shop, and we had sentences on asking for the price of something, what is this costing, this is too expensive, this one's better, and that kind of thing. So that you get some insight into speaking about the vegetable shop. And we have places of interest. We have that at least 10 places of interest we nominated, and we spoke about them. Where is the Pitch Lake? Where is the Botanical Gardens? And where is the Nylon Pool? The Nylon Pool is in Tobago, and so on. So that gives you an idea, a little bit about the geography of Trinidad, of course, and the Hindi related to it. And of course, we have here a Hindi meeting, a Hindi meeting. Somebody asking about when is the meeting, where is the meeting, and that, you see, with those short sentences, you have an opportunity to develop the interest, and therefore to continue the speaking of the language. This is the contribution that this book is seeking to make. And I trust that if you use it well, your Hindi will improve, and you could enjoy the language better. Nothing to do about dropping the English. In the old days, when I was small, the tendency was our parents preferred we do not speak Hindi because it will interfere with our ability to learn the English. That was wrong, I think, and because many other nationalities speak their national languages, and they do very well, and as well as learning Hindi. And in any case, it is known that learning a second language, and Hindi is kind of a second language because you're not speaking it generally. Learning a second language does a wonderful thing to developing your brain and the prospect of not having Alzheimer's. So, having regard to that, I have brought a copy for every persons of the Satsang today, and if more copies are needed, and you feel that it could be useful to friends and family, Hindi Nidhi will be prepared to sell further copies, one for $20, but 10 for $100. You do the mathematics and see which is the better deal. One for 20 and 10 for 100. And if you need any, you could contact me. I'm easy to contact through Jahaji, or the phone numbers are here as well, and we will deliver either to this location. We have an office. My accounting office is in Chaguanas as well, and Chase Village. We have offices in San Fernando and in Port of Spain. So anywhere you are in Trinidad, I think we could deliver to you. So thank you so much, and I look forward to your continued development of the speaking of the Hindi language. Thank you.
Then dhanyavad. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Gopi. And the rest can be handed over to Angela Ji. There's some more there, Angela Ji. Please help him along. Yes. Yeah. Can you just hand it over to Angela Ji, Mr. Gopi? Just, yeah. Om Boliye Siyapati Ramchandra ki Jai, Jai Shri Ram. So, thank you so much, Mr. Gopi. Take your time. Someone please help him along. And always he has been so encouraging and so supportive of our work here at the Kendra. So this is the end of our satsang for this morning. Very different to our usual format, and we hope you appreciate what we have shared this morning. And just a very quick reminder, tomorrow is the actual day for Indian arrival for us here in Trinidad and Tobago. How many years? 177 years. So whatever you are going to be doing, I urge you to please give some thought to all that we have shared this morning and over the last couple weeks. We wish you a very blessed and productive week, a very safe week, and look forward to you all joining us again next Sunday when we will start to focus on Gangadhara. Namaskar.